Afternoon, everybody, or afternoon at time of recording. King and Angry here, and just a few notes here and there. Firstly, Sony has finally has come to senses and released claim on the Jumpin' Joe Board reviews, so that's good. Chronon reviews for the time being will stay on YouTube. Also, I'm trying to come up with a few ideas for a new book, for a novel idea. I'm trying to work on my creative writing. I spent the last few weeks doing this sort of urban fantasy urban fantasy. Now I'm wanting to try and do a sort of science fiction adventure, and I'm thinking of trying to do something interesting. Have the perspective not of the hero, but of one of the people following them. And I want to try and get a reason for it. I'm thinking the reason we're seeing the perspective of sort of these blog posts that the perspective character is saying. Sort of this, I mean, if you've watched the Mistaken for a Planet episode, short film that I did a couple of months back, the idea of this space blogger, this person going around the galaxy with information for the blog, and in the you should really watch the short film to get the full idea. It's based on it's inspired by the work of Douglas Adams. Anyway, this idea of a space blogger, this blog would be the blog that this character would be into is sort of this space archaeology, ancient myths, research, all that. And the main character, who's this sort of Byronic hero, look it up on TV Tropes. The Byronic hero is hiring the blogger to help with research, and they're traveling around the galaxy trying to find this supposed artifact that grants ultimate knowledge. Although the trouble is that it's from an extremely old civilization whose language has never been deciphered. So it's only with the translation. It's only with and there have been translations, there have been retranslations of documents, but some parts haven't actually been have either been lost and never documented. Some are written on materials that and some areas haven't been able to translate. So anyway, the artifact turns out not to be something that Grant is. I think you can guess that the artifact, bit of a revealing a twist here, but this is just a work in progress. Turns out to be a doomsday weapon. Also, another novel idea I had, which I've kind of lost interest in, was this. Just for an idea, was a dystopia. It came out by Inspired when I read 1984, the George Orwell book, and there was that question, there's that famous quote, "I know how, but I don't know why," which the main character Winston Smith is asking himself, why does the party change the information so that it always seemed to be like that, sort of changing history. Well, I came up with the idea, what if a dictatorship's doing this to try and make itself seem bigger than it actually is? And I was thinking, what if it's a city-state that's run by a fascist dictatorship that's using the tongue-in-cheek method. Let's see. Yeah, this fascist party was elected when they were pretending to be something else, and they were using a false flag. I've got the history out there. I've got a history. The outside records say that the party was driven underground during the Second World War, but the party thrived in its time underground. Members members became rich and ran in government as independent, much like the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. And then the party ran again under a different name, not claiming to be fascist, just anti-communist. And they promised to protect the United Kingdom from the threats of the USSR. As this was the Cold War, a lot of people would vote for them, and they became the second largest party in the 1951 election. They continued to play the long game, so that just before the 1955 election, they did a false flag operation, discrediting the Conservative Party, leaving them as the only option. For the first 2 years, they kept status quo, but they promised they'd protect the UK through diplomacy and increasing the UK's nuclear stockpile. Then in the third year, the party acted a coup d'état. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Where the party secretary, the true party leader, overthrew the figurehead prime minister. Thus became the prime minister, and then revealed who they really were. But before the army could intervene, the party said that they had a nuclear bomb hidden in London, and they would set it off if there was any part outside intervention, which would have destroyed one of the greatest landmarks of all time and killed the entire population. So they had no choice. I mean, now think about it, there is a plot hole. Couldn't they have just evacuated couldn't they have ordered an evacuation? I'm actually beginning to see holes in my own story. Good thing I didn't do that. Good thing I fell out. I mean, someone out there might steal this idea and really, I don't mind. I mean, I may decide to change it here and there to fit with another thing. I mean, it could work. I mean, it could work in some sort of science fiction thing. That I don't really know. So anyway, also I've got a new video coming out on Thursday. It's not for reviews. It's not a lightning sketch. And after the utter bomb that was Shouty Answers episode 4 views, really? I was hoping that it would have at least gotten more than 7, like episode 3. It means that I'm not going to be doing any more Shouty Answers. If you think that I should do another, I'm not wanting to waste my time just to get minuscule views. I want to actually try and get something that's popular. Really. So anyway, I don't think I'm going to be doing any more Shouty Answers. I've got a new idea for a video, but you'll have to wait until Thursday. So that's all I really need to talk. That's really all I can say for now. This is King of New Anglia signing out.